You can't have a free society if people aren't allowed to say what they think is true. Speech is the fundamental prerequisite for democracy. That's why it's enshrined in the first of our constitutional amendments. Amazingly, as of tonight, there aren't many platforms left that allow free speech. The last big one remaining in the world, the only one, is Twitter, where we are now.
So to absolutely no one's surprise, Tucker Carlson has not actually been canceled because, well, before he got fired from Fox News, he was the most watched cable news anchor in the country on the most watched news channel in the country, which is Fox News. And then he, of course, goes into this hilarious tirade about how he really, really, truly cares about free speech, which is why he was working on Fox News, spreading lies about, the border, spreading lies about minorities in the country, spreading lies about pretty much anything that's liberal and anything that's left wing. Talking about how men aren't men anymore and women making money, they should probably stay in the house. I mean, that's the type of stuff that Tucker Carlson would talk about on his show pretty much every single night. So moving to Twitter, we shouldn't expect anything different, except there's probably going to be less limitations because, as he pointed out, Twitter is a social media platform and not a giant news network. And Elon Musk is tanking it, so, what difference does it really make anyway?
Twitter has long served as the place where our national conversation incubates and develops. Twitter is not a partisan site. Everybody's allowed here, and we think that's a good thing. And yet, for the most part, the news that you see analyzed on Twitter comes from media organizations that are themselves thinly disguised propaganda outlets. You see it on cable news, you talk about it on Twitter. The result may feel like a debate, but actually the gatekeepers are still in charge. We think that's a bad system. We know exactly how it works, and we're sick of it.
And then the idea that, Twitter's the only place where free speech is left. No, it's really not. You can talk about pretty much anything you'd like on most of the networks as long as you don't curse or, talk against the establishment if you're a news anchor like a Don Lemon or something. But they bring guests on who talk, crap about the establishment all the time. So that really isn't true. And then on Twitter, well, Elon Musk took over and all the right-wingers were excited because they would be able to say the N-word, the F-word, the gay slur, and pretty much anything else that they wanted without being canceled. But then Elon Musk came and shut them down because he was freaking out because of advertisement. We know Tucker Carlson isn't going to be on there cursing and up a storm or anything like that, but he could go to Rumble, he could go to YouTube, he could go to a lot of other platforms, he could go to Newsmax, he really could go anywhere that he wanted. Tucker Carlson is not in a bad position whatsoever.
At the most basic level, the news you consume is a lie of the stealthiest and most insidious kind. Facts have been withheld on purpose, along with proportion and perspective. You are being manipulated. What's it like to work in a system like that? After more than 30 years in the middle of it, we could tell you stories. The best you can hope for in the news business at this point is the freedom to tell the fullest truth that you can. But there are always limits. And you know that if you bump up against those limits often enough, you will be fired for it. That's not a guess, it's guaranteed.
So I guess, if Tucker Carlson wants to get a little more rowdy, a little more racist, a little more misogynist, or whatever it is that he's planning, I guess he, could do that more on Twitter. But like I said before, there's really no shortage of places where Tucker Carlson could get hired. I'd be willing to bet that CNN would even hire him, just because why not? You feel me? So he's still, at the end of the day, he's one of the most watched people in the country. So his job security is just fine. But now I ain't been on Twitter in months, so I certainly won't be tuning in to Tucker Carlson's show. But I'm sure that we're going to be forced to talk about it right here on Rebel HQ.